for like since you were maybe a year old or something like that, and then now you're older and you're wearing a tie.
Yes, I am. Yes,
What
I am.
happened?
And well, first of all, I'm not quite at 1 year old did I start playing, but I've been playing all my life
Yeah.
since about 7 or 8. And I came down here to OZ to do some piano night stuff and talk about this new CD that I have out. So let's talk about piano night.
Wow, funny you should mention that.
Yes.
It's a little party that we throw once a year.
Yes, it's Monday, May 1st. It's the House of Blues. And this year, what we're really trying to do is get as many of the local piano players as we can get on the stage. We really wanted to try to give a good representation of what all the piano players in the city are doing, which is almost impossible because there's so many piano players and there's so many ones that we couldn't get because we just don't have. We're not going to do a 15-hour show.
Yeah, and people have commitments as well.
Yeah. Like myself.
Right.
I will actually be in Europe with the Kenny Wayne Shepherd Band because I've been in that band since 2017.
Yeah.
Last year I was actually out on tour with Kenny, but I flew in for piano night. I flew back out. I flew in for Jazz Fest. I flew back. It's like 1 week I was just in New Orleans every other day and somewhere out in the Midwest in between all that. Couldn't do that this year from Europe, though.
Yeah, it's a little.
It's a little bit of a hard commute.
Flying, yeah.
But anyway,
but piano night is pretty special. Now, okay,
yes.
so the greatest benefit is the greatest curse. So is it more like speed dating? Boom, 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 boom. I think it's more of like a sampler.
It has a little bit of that speed dating effect. It might have that at times, but it is definitely a sampler, and we really wanted to present a show that really kind of included as many of these great piano players in the city from all different kinds.
Yeah.
We have trad players, we have modern jazz players, we have R&B players, we have guys that do a little of everything. I mean, we have a couple of gospel guys in there. We just really wanted. I produce it with Dave Ankers, and Dave and I really wanted to try to get a really good feel of the landscape of the piano music in the city right now.
Yeah.
And, we'd love to get all these great piano players from all over the world, but, we really wanted to be this year's objective.
We're a piano town.
Yeah, we are.
And we have some amazing world-class players here at home.
We do. We have some of the world's best piano players here at home, and it's just interesting to see how the music has evolved and the young players that are coming up, and the guys that are the torchbearers like myself, that are holding the traditions of Longhair and James Booker and Dr. John and all those other guys. And then we have these other guys that are breaking new ground totally with some modern jazz like no one's ever done it before, which is the way we do things in New Orleans.
Well, when you say guys, though, that's a generic. It's a
yes,
Midwestern term.
Because there's gals of all different sizes and shapes and everything. So
yeah,
I don't mean that as a gender thing. I mean it as an inclusive thing, as just everybody.
Yeah, it's an all-inclusive Upper Midwestern term.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I get in trouble for it all the time. But yeah, it's going to be a great time. We're going to miss you in person, but you will be there in spirit.
Kind of broke my heart that I couldn't be here for Jazz Fest.
Yeah, dance with the one who brung you.
It's the golden handcuffs out there,
Yeah,
you get a great gig, and sometimes you just you can't be in two places at once.
Yeah.
So.
Well, we do have a great lineup, though, and we're looking forward to it. That is the Monday in between the 2 weekends of Jazz Fest. And
May 1st, right?
Don't ask me.
May 1st.
I'm so calendar impaired right now. I don't know whether I'm coming or going. But so I do know that you are coming up with a brand new record.
Yes, it is now out. It is available. The record label released the first single for streaming on all streaming services. And the first single is a song called All of It, which was an Alan Toussaint song. Well, first, let me say the name of the CD is called Tribute, and I named it that because I felt I really wanted to get this music recorded, because this is the music that is my inspiration on piano, and it's basically my piano heroes of Alan Toussaint, Dr. John, Professor Longhair, and James Booker. And every song other than the ones that I wrote, which was only 3 of them, is something that one of those 4 guys either wrote, performed or wrote and performed. So I really wanted to pay tribute to all of those people. And actually the songs that I wrote are kind of one of them's a tribute to Professor Longhair. One of them is a gospel tribute to the guy that I did gospel music with, Joe Cool Davis.
Oh.
I called it Ode to
God, I
Mr.
miss
Davis.
him. I miss him.
Oh, boy, was he a character.
He was.
I love playing music with him.
I love
And
just being in his, breathing the same air.
he was a one-of-a-kind guy, you know. Yeah. And I played more jazz fests with Joe Cool Davis than I did any artist ever. I played it every year with him since 1993 until he passed.
Good job.
And I mean, I played all those years with Gatemouth. I did all the years by myself with my own project. But throughout it all, I played Joe Cool's show every year.
Wow.
And he was my gospel link, and he kind of like gave me my whole gospel thing and working with his guys. So I did a kind of a gospel-y kind of tune, and I called it Ode to Mr. Davis.
That is passing the legacy down, isn't it, man?
Exactly.
You know, we talk about the Professor Longhair. You know, you Ed Volker, people who are kind of, you know, getting up there now, are carrying that torch and are passing that torch on to the next.
And this CD is basically about that, and it's a tribute to all of that music and those musicians that were my inspiration to play in the way that I play. And of course, I can't do anything without a tribute to the origin of all this music, which is boogie woogie. And I wrote a boogie woogie for the whole thing.
Excellent.
So, but anyway,
well, let's hear something.
Okay, well, I feel inclined to now. I'm gonna play solo here, but the CD is full band stuff. I've got a rhythm section of Doug Belote and Mark Brooks on the entire CD, and song to song, I have people like Leo Nocentelli playing on it. I have Ivan Neville sang "Such a Night." I have the singer from Kenny Wayne Shepherd's Band singing that beautiful Alan Toussaint ballad, "With You in Mind."
Yeah.
Walter Wolfman Washington is on there.
Who you played with for so many years.
I played with Walter for 15 years, and this was I did one of my favorite songs with him, and I picked that song because that was the song that James Booker cut a version of it.
Excellent.
And it was actually the last studio session that Walter did before he declined and passed away.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of, like, you know, sentimental stuff in there for me about it. And, you know, and of course I have some newer friends like Jason Ricci played harmonica on one song. I got Joe Sublette, who's the saxophone player with the Phantom Blues Band, who is out with Kenny for a little while. And he played on a couple of songs. I got my old buddy John Fole to come and play a couple of songs, you know. So there's a scattering of some newer friends in there that I play music with on a regular basis, and some of my heroes like Leo. I mean, I sent Leo a text. I was like, "Leo, would you be up for a session?" My phone rang about 10 seconds later. It's like right there. It was
what do you got?
no
Oh,
hesitation at all.
awesome.
He's like, "What you got?"
Excellent.
I told him the song. He was like, "I don't remember it." "You played on it, Leo." "I don't remember it." "Send it to me." I sent it to him. He goes, "Oh yeah, I remember that one." Alan cut it in 1996, I think, and for the 9-0 Records.
Wow.
And I think the name of the record was Connected, and Leo was the guitar player on that cut, and that's why I really wanted to get him, because he really brought that song to life for me. So.
Well, let's hear something, Joe Krown.
All right. Well, I'm going to play this tune. It's called Dorothy. It's one of Dr. John's songs, and he wrote it and called it Dorothy because his mother's name is Dorothy.
Mom.
And I've actually heard it referred to as song from my mother versus song from my father, which was Horace Silver.
Right.
But it's a beautiful song, and it's on the CD. I played it with a little piano trio, and on the CD I have Mark was playing upright bass and Doug was playing brushes on it, so it's a nice, really nice feel on it. But this is just me doing it solo.
Oh, that was just beautiful, Joe. Joe Krown performing live here on WWOZ. He's got a terrific new record out. It's called Tribute, and you have a CD release party coming out Sunday night up at the
At the
Maple
Maple
Leaf
Leaf.
with crawfish.
Yeah, that's April 9th. After Easter, that's Easter Sunday.
Yeah.
And we're going to have a little CD release party. I think there's going to be crawfish beforehand.
Oh, yeah, Jason Seither comes in and just...
He's been doing it every Sunday. You may want to check on that first to make sure.
Oh, because it's Easter.
Yeah,
I think
because
it's going
Easter.
on.
I think it is, too.
Yeah.
I've got John Fole, Mark Brooks, and Doug Belote on the gig.
Cool.
And we're going to play all this music that's on the CD, and we'll have a little celebration for it. And the CD, like I said, all of it is available on all streaming services. And if you go to my website, joekrown.com, that's Krown with a K. Said that about 1 billion times. You can actually order it online.
I can tell you about misspellings, too.
I know Missy with no E in there.
Camille with 1 L. Yeah. No, that's awesome. That's just awesome. Joe Krown. That's K. Our K is for Krown.
Yes.
Yeah. We'll miss you at piano night, but we're really happy that you're playing around town and that you do get in and out, and that we have this new record out to listen to.
Yeah. It's
You've been really prolific lately. You've been just kind of knocking them out.
Well, at the end of 2021, I did a CD with Jason Ricci.
Jason Ricci,
we did
right?
like a very unique record with, or CD, I should say. My age is showing with that. With Hammond organ, harmonica, and drums.
Yeah.
I don't think there's very much of that out there, if any at all. And that was a CD called City Country City, and we're having a nice run with it. We're going to be at French Quarter Fest on the 15th. And then on the 16th, I'm flying to Europe. And I just got back on Sunday from a whole Midwest, East Coast run, 15 cities in 20 days. And the Europe thing is going to be, I think, 17 or 18 shows in 25 days. So it's, it's a little dizzying, but I know I shouldn't be out there doing this, but I guess it's my midlife crisis or something.
It's sort of the reverse of buying a sports car.
Yeah, really.
Well, I cannot thank you enough for coming by. Can I tease one more audio? You gotta.
Sure, we can do. I'm going to do Such a Night, and when I did this on the CD, I played piano exactly like this, but we got Ivan Neville to come sing it. And
fun.
Man, he just really killed it.
When did you first become aware of Dr. John? When did you get catch that?
For those that didn't know or don't know, I was not born and raised in New Orleans.
Yeah.
Okay, I grew up in New York, and after I turned 18, I moved up to Boston, and I moved down here when I was 30, about 30 or 35 years ago. And so the first time I really got turned on to New Orleans piano, I was a big boogie woogie freak, and I really love boogie woogie and ragtime piano. And I heard Dr. John when I was living in New York, and he had all those Atlantic records with Gree and all that stuff.
Like Right Place, Wrong Time.
Yeah, Right
Sure.
Place, Wrong Time. And I'm like, wow, what is this? This is kind of like boogie woogie, but it's different. And then, I was in my early 20s, I had a friend that was a real New Orleans music fan, and I was telling him how much I loved Dr. John, and I was learning all this stuff. I had the Dr. John workbook and everything and all that, and I was trying to, figure this all out. And he said, you know who Professor Longhair is? And I was like, who? And he turned me on to Professor Longhair, and it was that just was like,
that was the spark.
That opened up a whole can of everything.
Yeah.
Because then you hear exactly where Mac was coming from, and it made total sense because everything that Mac was about Professor Longhair, and that's not uncommon. That's the succession of how music evolves. That people hear something and then they get inspired by it, and sometimes they continue it, and sometimes they twist it into their own thing. I mean, James Booker was the same way.
All right.
He played a lot of classical music and boogie woogie, and the next thing you know, he's got his own little thing going on with a style that to this day is held high by it changed the way that New Orleans piano players play.
Yeah.
And and so I really got kind of turned on to that in my late teens and early 20s. And I grew up playing classical music like most piano players do. You get piano lessons, they throw those John Thompson books in front of you and, and give you scales and all that. And I learned all that, and I can read music, but it was really, and I read music to learn ragtimes. And then I started listening to like a lot more boogie woogie, and I started taking theory lessons and, getting in that direction with it.
And voila, here
voila.
you are. Yeah.
35
Touring
years later.
with a country band.
Yeah. I'm working at the local McDonald's, right?
Let's hear some Dr. Joe
right.
Krown. CD release party coming up on the Sunday,
The 9th.
Easter Sunday.
Yes.
And
8 o'clock at the Maple Leaf
8
Bar.
o'clock. Thank you so much, my friend, for
Thank you,
coming
Miss
in and playing for us. Joe
You.
Krown. Yeah, thank you, Joe. Thank you so much. We will see you Sunday night.